Oh God, yeah. We are live, by the way, just so you know.
Because you call it football, but you use your hands.
They kick it once.
Discuss.
They kick it once. It's a bad ball to kick too. It's you know how outlawed and everything. It's a terrible ball.
Barely a ball.
Who put races down the one side? What's that?
I think that's for like aiming or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is America
do that without the ball?
Is America still in imperial measurements and things?
Like we're using inches and feet instead of centimeters. Yeah.
So you're still using like yards.
It's the French way.
Yeah.
The French.
Yeah, because they talk a lot about yards. There was once American football used to be on a Saturday morning, and I used to watch it and get quite into it, you know. But then I just lost interest, and that's it. So. Anyway, welcome everyone. Before I go any further, can any of you hear the music that's playing outside?
No.
That's
I'm
really
more
good.
concerned. Can you hear my TV?
I can't.
No.
Can't at all. My microphone's sort of like pointing straight at me. Is the microphone all right? I am using the right one.
You sound brilliant.
Yeah, that's all right.
I found my piece for my headset.
We saw, you're back like an aerobic instructor again.
Yeah. Go, fellas.
Yeah.
Really push for this one. We're going up a hill now.
Yeah, I was watching World of Warcraft first race for world first. Is that right? I got really into it. I was really pleased that Echo won it. But Logitech has a lot of headphones with mic on them, don't they? And I don't. I have this massive whop-off microphone, you know, because I got it before they started to minimize microphones, etc. So, and I can't afford to buy a new one.
Mine's quite big. My Logitech headphones that I hate at the moment, although they are very, very, very good, because I'm trying to play Witcher 3, but I can't change my headphones to stereo, so I can't hear Geralt talk or any other character talk.
Have you played Escape from Tarkov?
No.
That you have to have your character can actually pick up headphones. It's a first-person shoot them. But the interesting thing is you need the headphones on your character, and then you can hear stereo where the people are running around you. But if you don't have them on, you can't. Footsteps are incredibly loud in that game. I don't play it. I just watch streamers who... I tend to watch streamers for the streamer.
And doing backpack management where they go, oh my God, I can't fit that in there. Oh, let's move that across there.
Well, it's interesting because Spoiler, actually, he is fastidious about inventory and everything has to go. And they're playing, is it 7 Days to Die? Is that right?
Yes, awesome game.
Yeah, he's got a community server and all the boxes are labelled. And everything has to go in a certain way. And he was saying the other day, and he won't mind me saying, he was saying the other day, I think we should all have a box that we just put our own stuff in and keep it tidy.
Yeah. Do you know what? I love playing with Chugs on things like that, but he's very the same thing as Spoiler.
Yeah.
Very like, it's got to be there, it's got to be in there. And I'm like, me and Lisa was like, just chuck stuff in there. Whatever. And you put it there. Oh, there's 20 in there, there's 20 there, there's 20 there. Whatever.
Just chuck it in. Chuck it in. Yeah. Anyway, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful M-Space adventure. So Mithras rule set in space. We initially said that we were going to play one adventure of M-Space and go back to Mithras, but we decided that it'll be best to clarify and embed the rules that we've learned during the first adventure. So we're going to do another M-Space adventure and then we will go back to Mithras. Sadly, Longshank's EPG, we're not too sure when he'll be coming back. So Purdy will be staying with us for the time being. And if Dr. Sarah Thursday does return. I think she'll probably come back more as a science officer, being science knowledge, maybe a bit of censoring and computing, so like doubling up on some other skills, but therefore making it easier to augment roles. Of course, we won't know whether or not Longshanks CPG is returning to play Hengist, so I'm currently working on a fighter-type character to slip into the Mithras game, which I'm hopefully going to pick up a whole load of things that you probably know about as players, but I'm going to put them into action so you can see them working. And I hope Hasbro is going to still take the skill that I thought he was going to take. If that sounds a bit cryptic, yes, that's all right. That's sort of like I didn't want to say the skill because you might want to keep it secret until we set off.
Role play.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we finished off a session last week or the week before, whenever, and we did our experience rolls and everything like that. So the party are ready to start a new set of adventures, and in a minute we're going to go straight into it without any fuss and start seeing what's in store. Just for the player's point of view, the adventures are linked together, so there will be the common link of your memory loss work going through. Remember, you can always see whether or not there is something to learn at certain points by making a formidable insight roll. And I won't tell you if there's nothing to learn. I'll still let you make the roll, if that makes sense. So I'll feed you information. And the other thing, just to say, I know, Minsky, you're dying to get a spaceship back, but it's on the cards. It will be coming once.
No, make me work for it.
Once Hammond's made it, Hammond's going to make it. He's getting one of those.
To be fair,
all I have so far is two 2x4s I nailed together. We're working on it.
We're going to go into a garage with 2 drain pipes, and some sticky tape, and it's fine.
Yeah.
And Hammond Lecter there will be coming back out with.
It'd be like the A-Team or MacGyver all over.
Now I do have to steal a few nuclear bombs for the hyperdrive system, but I think we can figure this one out.
I was wondering, would you prefer to earn a spaceship or steal a spaceship?
I feel like we're going.
To be fair, that's down to the role play and what happens at the time, because
And honestly, if we steal
take
it,
what we can get.
If we steal it, get away with it, that means we earned it. So.
Yeah. Maybe those are the one of the same.
They are the same thing. We did make this deal happen.
Yeah.
Or I suppose it depends who owns it beforehand. I don't think any of you would object to requiring a core vessel at any point. Anyway, before
and I'm sure Arthur would like some nice core armor.
Yes, I think Minsk. I think Minsk would like some battle armor as well, just for local brawls.
Standing up.
Yeah, slapping. Anyway, before we get too far off topic, let's focus back on when players introduce who they are and who they will be playing in tonight's M-Space adventure. And as always, we start with you, Mr. Pickles.
I'm Mr. Pickles, and I'm playing Zach Numan tonight. Zach is an ex-law enforcer. He's very serious, and at times he might seem sadistic, but he's more punitive. He believes in punishment for lawbreakers, and he believes firmly in the law. That's why he left Corps before, is because they had some situations where they wanted him to enable their corruption. And he disagreed with that, and that's why he's with this group. He knows a lot about the streets. He worked a lot in more populated urban planets, so the planet we're on is a little bit different, but still somewhat within his ability to help the group. He's got sleight of hand, which I've yet to show off, and a very powerful shotgun, which I have shown off. And with that, I'm going to throw the microphone over to Medivac.
Well, thank you. And it's a shame your shotgun hasn't been stored off as well as shown off. Hey, sure didn't. I am James Minsk. I'm the most amazing starship pilot you will ever see. I have flown a starship through an asteroid field while trying to get a cargo to a friend of mine. Things like
but
that.
can't remember it.
May be true. Yes. In my
Supposedly.
mind.
Supposedly.
I'm the most awesome person in a bar fight because you know me. I'll be the one behind a table in a corner somewhere going, "Don't see me! Don't see me!" But when it comes down to talking to people, I'm pretty damn good. I know how to influence people to do what I want or to see my way of thinking. I like to lead the way that I want. Some people say I am oh gosh, how can I put it? A man of my own mind. So, yes, he's got a little sleepy little pop out blaster pistol that he just flicks the tendon. It pops out his right hand, which is why he always shoots. So he always shakes hands with his left hand, just in case. He's not that good. I big myself up, but I'm not that good in a fight. I do tend to rather talk than use weapons. But saying that, I am still damn good in a ship. And with that, I shall pass on to Cap Kangaroo.
Everybody, I'm Captain Kangaroo. Tonight I am playing Arthur Hammond. He is an older, gruff know-it-all who's really helpful in creating devices and things that benefits the group as a whole, hopefully. If you were to describe how he sounds, he's probably like Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, but with like a drunken slur.
I never get any of your references.
This is good. I mean, I watch too much of everything.
Everybody else is laughing, and I'm just sort of like sat here thinking, "What?
What?"
I said, "Hello, Batman."
What was the other joke that you said the other day?
I said, Mr. Farnsworth from Futurama had the charisma of James Bond.
Yeah, and there was another one that Mr. Pickles congratulated you on in the Discord. And I was thinking...
That one was a good one. That one was a good one. That one, I said, everyone thinks he sounds like Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one.
And I'm thinking, who is Gilbert Godfrey?
If you heard it, you're like, oh, that's... No, not really, but okay.
He's got the worst voice. Sorry, Gilbert.
Yeah. I know he's a huge fan of this stream, so
a chainsaw.
No offense, buddy.
A chainsaw.
He's the parrot from Aladdin. He plays that squawking bird. That's the Disney Aladdin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Why did you give a parrot a cracker?
Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that now.
He Arthur what should I say about Arthur? He keeps leaving little breadcrumbs for me to find out, remember. And it turns out I think Arthur as a character is significantly smarter than Captain Kangaroo as a player. And so we're going to have to find a middle ground somewhere in which I actually make sense to why I chose this character. But,
nice.
From there, I'm going to pass the microphone to our GM.
Thank you. And just to let you know, the party is also accompanied by Purdy, who's a medical robot. She's quite good at her job. The players encouraged her to improve her sensor skill last time, so she's with some additional modules and changing of hardwiring, she now has somewhat of a sensor skill. You don't need a sensor skill to read a sensor or sensor readings. You need sensor skills to interpret it. Otherwise, you're just getting basic knowledge. Mr. Pickles said that Zach was a sadist, and then Mink said that Medivac said that Mince was something else, and I just sort of thought, what have we got here? We've got a group of very strange individuals put together, but who at the moment seem to be working very well together. So
opposites attract.
Yeah, so the players initially found themselves in an escape pod on a planet, a desert planet within the system. And they then found they'd lost their memory. They had no idea what they do, where they come from. They recognize each other. That brought them to Arid with some contacts that they made along the way. Arid is another desert planet, but made out of shipping containers. And from there, they retraced their steps back to their contact, which seemed to be somebody called Silent Angel. And they had some encounters with a black, matte opaque drone, that attacked them out when Minsk was driving his car. They went to a mining hub, found a dead body, and quite nicely got rid of some protectors, some local thugs, and eventually they came back to Arid where they met Core. And Core is a big company that actually operates, and they have very good equipment, battle armor, disruptor rifles. You know, they are the top knock, and that is it. And they managed to, I was so pleased that they left the protector somewhere else. The guy that was in the trunk, because I was dying to try to see what you would do as you drove back into Arid with a body in the trunk. It was going to be a conceal role, definitely. But anyway, they met some familiar people for some people, and some people got some snippets of information as they went through. They improved their skills wherever they wanted, and they are now ready for the next adventure. And really and truly, in the actual Arid at the moment, you only have one real contact that could provide you with jobs, and that is your fixer, your fencer, whatever you want to call it, Benny McDougal. And after a bit of downtime, a couple of weeks, maybe 3, you have a communication that probably comes to you, Minsk. I think you will be the port of call that Benny would actually send a message to. And he says that he would like to arrange to meet you because he has the option of a job that he thinks that you will be very suitable to. And he requests to meet you about 10 o'clock in the morning and welcomes you all along.
I'll sort of reply, say, yep, no problems, Benny. We've been sat here just kicking our heels, really. So, yeah, we'll be over at 10 in the morning.
Brilliant. Okay, then. I presume you're all going, and Purdy as well?
Yeah, Numan wants to go.
Yeah. Okay, then. And remember, the law level is quite low in this place, so you can carry your weapons, although probably not out. They're probably sheathed or holstered or placed wherever you place them. And if you remember, Benny lives in a 2-story shipping container, has a really nice secretary that is on the desk, and you sort of like arrive, Minsk being the face, the point person for this, and you sort of like come in, and she sort of like seems to be typing on some kind of computer pad or something like that, and she keeps typing away, and you enter the foyer, the reception area, and she doesn't look up or anything. She just says, yes.
Well, hello there. We're here to see Benny. We're here 10 o'clock.
So, Minsk, what sort of interaction are you hoping to get from the reception? What kind of social relationship would you like to develop with her?
It's more of a, how you doing?
Oh, kind of, like, you know,
that. But then Minsk is like that with most ladies because he's a bit of a
ladies' man.
So yeah, he thinks bigger than what he really is. So, you know.
How tall is he?
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. Anyway, let's just no, my size is 10, so his average is 5 foot.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it was. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. So just roll your influence skills, so we get an indication about how well she's reacting to you. She sort of like looks up and sort of like looks across at you and says, "Oh, Mr. Minx, yes. Do take a seat with your party. I'm sure Mr. MacDougall will be available shortly."
Certainly. And what's your name? I didn't catch it last time we were here.
My name?
Is Michael Caine.
No, I was just, that's her question. I'm not trying to think of one. My name?
Yes. Yes, I thought it'd be less awkward next time we visit if we could say, hello, hi Jane, hi James. You know.
Mr. Minx, I suggest we keep this on a very formal level. You could call me Miss Betsy.
Well, thank you, Miss Betsy.
My pleasure, Mr. Minx.
Obviously not on missions, is she?
Notice that my willpower score roll was higher than yours.
Hi ho.
And she sort of like gestures to the seating area to wait for for Benny to become available. And while you're there, a rather, shall we say, dusty looking person arrives. They seem to have desert gear on, outdoor desert gear on, long duster coats, and they seem to have goggles and some kind of face wrap across their face. And they you can see that they're actually carrying underneath their duster twin automatic pistols holstered in a belt. Not cowboy style, but more professional style. And they sort of like swagger in. They have real sort of like well trodden boots on and very sort of like leather protective trousers. They don't look like they're armored. It just looks like they're used to being out in the dust and probably going across the desert. And they sort of like come in, and they don't introduce themselves to Miss Betsy at all. What they do is they open what appears to be a satchel, a sort of like across the shoulder chest satchel, and they bring out what appears to be 4 data pads. Anybody who would like to make a perception roll, you can make one here. Purdy wouldn't make one quite naturally because she's not used to prying. You know, she'll do it in most important bit. But if anybody would like to gain a glimpse of what's happening, then by all means make a perception check now.
To be fair, Minsk wouldn't because he's too busy watching them, but not watching what we're doing.
Oh,
I'm always prying.
Oh, yeah. Numan has sort of like robotic eyes. Arthur's forgotten his glasses. He has no idea what's going on.
He's tinkering them right now.
Numan, you notice that the person hands over 4 data pads. 2 of them look like they've been smashed or they're broken. And the other 2 seem to be completely intact, and the person sort of like drops them onto the desk, into Miss Betsy's desk, and Miss Betsy looks down at them as if to say, how dare you put these on my desk, and looks up at the person, and a rather almost robotic voice, almost electrically synthesized voice comes up. You don't think this person is a robot. you think they've got some kind of voice vocalizer or voice changer on. And they just sort of like said, it comes out almost like usual rates, yes? And Miss Betsy says, I will give them to Mr. McDougall and he will transfer the money. And the person sort of like stumps their fist down on the table and says, and don't try to swindle me like last time. And Miss Betsy just sort of like smiles and cocks her head to one side and says, what Mr. McDougall does is completely up to him, as you well know, he says. And the person sort of like turns around and says, yeah, I know. And let's just say he better watch out. And the person turns round and sees you all there. And the person sort of like, you definitely feel like the person is just passing a cautionary eye over all of you, almost like individually. They're not pausing too long. That's uncomfortable at all. But you really find out, especially you, Numan, it seems to be that checking out look, as if to think, are they a threat or not? And there's a quick look around, and then the person just goes up to their hat that they've got on and says, morning, and turns round and leaves the through the door with a flourish of duster coat.
All right. And this time, Arthur will probably be tweaking at his sensor that screwed up on the last adventure.
Oh, yes.
To distract from time.
Mm.
So he'd be probably tweaking with that while waiting, making sure it works the next time he needs it.
Yeah, cool. Anybody else want to do anything? Yeah.
Newman's just sitting there considering that this person might come back. Did they have any weapons on them, like a rifle or a pistol that was obvious?
Didn't you say they had double automatic pistols?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that part.
Oh, Mr. Pickle.
Pay attention, Mr.
There was a critical. Yeah.
I know you had a critical perception roll. You're not even paying attention.
Oh my goodness.
My brain must have spasmed at that
But
point.
not cowboy style, professional style.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, twin automatic pistols, holstered, one on either side.
I wanted to, as he was gazing over us, I wanted to like put my head as he looked at me.
To do what? Sorry, I'm not.
Tilt my head.
Tilt your head, as in forward.
As he looked at me. Yeah.
As if to say, higher.
Yeah.
Or
watching me, watching you.
All right, got you. You're watching me, I'm watching you, sort of like look. Numan, roll your insight roll, and you can augment it with your streetwise skill.
My streetwise is 65. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, you get the feeling that they have a certain, the way they carry themselves, the way the guns are holstered. It's somebody who's very familiar with weapons, very familiar with how to take care of themselves. Could be similar to you, as in ex-law enforcement. It could be ex-military, but you don't think this was... It definitely the way they carried themselves, where their weapons were, how they approached and checked people out as they left. Definitely a professional of some description. And just as you twig that, there's a slight buzz as Miss Betsy's table, and she sort of like looks up to you, Minsk, and says, Mr. Minks, Mr. McDougall will see you now. Please do go through.
I will give a gentle little bow and say, thank you, Miss Betsy. and walk on through.
Okay.
While gesturing to these 3 reprobates to come with us.
Yeah. Right. Let me just, because my world anvil has just crashed on me.
Oh no.
And that's got all the adventure on, but we're fine. We're fine. It's coming back. Not a problem at all.
That's how we feel as characters. It's coming back, but very slowly.
Yeah, very, very much so. It seemed to have lost what I wanted, but I'll find it in the break. Okay, then. So you head through, and Benny sort of like his office is just as normal, and he gestures you to various places to sit or stand around the office, and he greets you with a very positive, well-to-do manner, and sort of like asks you the the nice things, the how you doing.
I'm exactly the same. I'll walk straight to Benny, left hand out, shake his hand. Benny, it's been such a long time.
Yeah, and he sort of like,
how are you doing?
He sort of like grabs your hand in a very warm and solid handshake. You notice that he's got rather dry, calloused hands, but he seems to be quite pleased with your interaction and your niceties, and he sort of like says, oh, yeah, it's very nice to see you again, Mr. Minx. Do sit down, and the rest of you as well. Just sit down anywhere. Don't stand on my behalf. Sit down.
Thanks, Benny. You are, as always, the best.
Sit.
Newman?
Newman's not a weirdo. He'll find some place to sit.
And
now that everyone's sitting, I guess.
Purdy's still standing, but that's what she normally does.
I'm going to sit in Benny's chair. No, sit anywhere. No joke.
Apart from the one that he sat on at the moment, he just have to like sit on his lap. And he says, I hope you don't mind me messaging you. He says, but I wonder whether or not you'd be quite willing to do a job for me and maybe come back into my stable, my fold of people that I can give jobs to.
To be fair, Benny, you can always count on us to work with you, but we were just pottering around, and Hammond here was making some weird stuff, so I thought it'd be nice to take him out and about.
Okay, so
and let's face it, Numan needs to do stuff as well.
Yeah, Numan needs to kill something because he's a sadist.
I'm not a sadist. People could look at me like that, but I'm just punitive, not a sadist.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
You did say that, yeah. So, Minsk, what sort of relationship do you want to build up with Benny McDougal?
I want him on the outside to be the most amazingly trustworthy person, but in the same breath, I don't trust him.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So, well,
yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be sort of like, you're my best friend.
Yeah. And almost like encourage, being nice on the outside, but not trusting him and hoping that he might drop something in conversation that might help you.
Yeah, it's more if he tries to give us a bad job.
Yeah. That he
would, as well. Also,
good, got you.
So, drop is in it. Yeah.
Well, your influence skill. Darth has just said in the chat, Numan will start killing people if he doesn't get to kill people.
Yes, that is true. That's not a very good influence trick, but I don't know. Let's leave it.
Leave it. Yeah, I'm just getting my luck cards out because it always goes. I'm determined to use them all in this adventure because I had about 5 left at the last one. And McDougal's Benny sort of like sits down and he sort of like says, I know you don't have a ship or anything, but a job's come to my attention that actually needs to take place in Arid itself, in the settlement here. And well, to be quite sure and honest with you, Minsk, I wouldn't really trust this to anybody else. I think I need somebody who has your flair and your understanding on this one.
I can see where you're coming from, Benny. But just lay down the deets and we'll see what we can do.
Well, I've had a communication that's been sent to me about somebody who's coming to the planet. And I'm not too sure why she's coming at all, but it appears that she's asked for some sort of protection while she's on the planet. She reassured me that there was no illegal about her activities on the planet, but she was somewhat vague, I must say. But when I pressed, she sort of like said that she requested privacy. She never really said that it was a private matter. She sort of like said, you know, she would appreciate and is willing to pay for privacy as well. So anyway, I know quite a few people in Arid, but if you know what I mean, Minsk, she sounded a bit classy. Do you know what I mean?
I know, Benny, I know exactly what you mean. And a girl who likes, or lady who likes, the finer things in life is something I truly can understand.
And I thought that, Minsk, I thought you're the person who knows about the finer things in life, as well as being somewhat of a, well, you know around the ladies, you know how to, shall we just say, encourage them in the right direction.
Well, I don't like to take this encouragement as in my pheromones or my magnetism.
Oh, yes.
Ladies do tend to fall my way.
We can call it sexual magnetism if you like. Yeah, well, whatever floats your boat with it. But I know you have a certain way with clients, and this seems to be somebody who would appreciate that, you know, that finer approach, if that makes sense.
It does indeed, Benny. And at the end of the day, we're here to help you, because if we help you, you get money, we get money.
Well, yeah.
And I'm still working for my little baby ship.
Yeah. There's sad news about that ship.
It's just beautiful, beautiful. What I can remember, the most beautiful ship I ever had.
I heard it.
And it had all my things on it too.
I know. And I heard it completed the Kessler run in record time as well.
Oh.
What's that reference?
It was certainly a fine ship. I never realized that you can get so many missiles and disruptor lasers on one ship. You really had it cloud out for, and that armor. You know, I'm surprised anything. I'm winding you up. Sorry.
I know. It's going to be a VW Beetle, isn't it? And it's that cargo hold.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned about, you know, you get paid, I get paid. Because there was something quite strange about this. She's actually paying me to find her the protection, but she's very keen to pay the protection people directly. It's rather off-putting that she's not providing the normal 20% cut for me, but like I said, she's a classy lady and she's paying for my skills and my knowledge and contact to put you in touch with her.
Benny, I totally see where you're coming from, and when we speak to the lady and we find out what she's going to pay us, and you know me, I'm an honest man, as honest as they come. And if it is more than what we think we deserve, we certainly, Benny, will give you 20%.
He sort of like...
If it, but Benny, but if it isn't as much as we think we deserve, maybe 15%, but we will do our best to get you your 20%. You know, Benny, from us.
He sort of like looks at you and he says, Minsk, I've already got my money. That money's being paid directly for me just to find you So I won't need any cut of the money that you get from this client. The money's all yours from her. I've been paid already. I've done my bit now. Put her in touch with you, or to be more precise, put you in touch with her. And he sort of like pings over to you all your communication communicators or your display pads some details, and it basically reads that protection is required for a maximum of 1 week during the visit to Arid. Payment will be 5,000 credits per day at the termination of the 1 week period. This will be adjusted due to the effectiveness of the protection. There's also a communication number for you to call to arrange meeting at the starport when she arrives. She's currently traveling on a public starship that is due to make its stop in Arid, but she's left really clear instructions for you to communicate with her at 10 o'clock tomorrow to arrange when the spaceship will be docking and how to identify her. And it's signed AB. There's no other note on there. There's no indication of who it's come from. You do look underneath and you think, Hammond, do you have a computer skill?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, just roll your computer skill.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my luck. Yeah, I wanna. Yeah. All right, there we go.
Oh, that's better. You sort of like when Minsk is reading it and carrying on conversation with Benny, you have a quick scroll through. It looks like there was quite a lengthy email discussion between AB and Benny. Unfortunately, there seems to be a lot of content that has been removed, and all you can see down at the bottom is the initial communication of requesting somebody to protect her and saying things about the need for privacy, etc. You figured there was a whole load of communications backwards and forwards that maybe talked about the price for Benny's part of it, but Benny has carefully removed these. So
what about the content of like why they're paying so much, such as is like reasoning, like
exactly.
Is there any of that still there?
No, well, only what Benny has told you, and that was in the original communique. So it's not as if it's different. It talks about her. It's very vague about what she needs. She just says protection, but she requests privacy, but reassures Benny that there's nothing illegal about her visit and that it will be for 1 week. There is something else that you pick up in the original communique, was that the word initially is used there, and it says initially required for a week. But you notice that the final communication talks about a week, and it says that 5,000 credits per day at the termination of 1 week period, of the 1 week period. So it's quite, there's something that's not matching up there.
Yeah. So there's definitely some information one of the parties not giving us, and our pay can definitely fluctuate based on our performance.
Yeah. And you don't think Benny's doing anything bad? You think he's just...
I think he's just hiding the fact that he's making more money than he's getting off on.
Or he doesn't want to share with you how much money he's making.
Can I ask? I want to ask Benny something. Oh, Benny. Sorry. Outside of this one job that you're giving us, I know that you probably know the ins and outs of anything that comes in and out of this star system. I actually have one question. If you could possibly get your hand on any core technology, I think you'll be the man I could go to. And in this sense, I specifically need the headsets and armor.
And as soon as you he sort of like starts to pay attention to you, but Minsk, you notice that he's flicking his eyes between you and Hammond in the sense of almost like saying, Minsk, we normally
Why is
do.
he talking to me?
Yeah, we normally do business. But one thing you do notice, and you all see this, is almost like the shock and the color drain from Benny's face as soon as you mention Hammond core technology or core, and you just mention the word, and he sort of like goes like that. And so
I mean, whatever random technology. I just keep an eye out. I know something maybe we can work on. So I didn't mean to interject with what happened here.
Yeah, and
but
Benny's, you can tell, everybody can tell, you don't need an insight roll. Benny's, his cool, calm, collected self has somewhat been ruffled, and he's sort of, for the first time, and you've never seen him like this, he's almost like stuttering and not sure about his words, and he says, "Oh yeah. Any technology, any technology." And he sort of like turns back to you, Minx, and says, "So, will you be happy to take the job then?"
You know, Benny, yes, we will take the job, but do you know why Melanie Fish was here the other week?
Melanie Fish?
You know, the core sector director.
Oh, the core people. And yet again, he sort of like goes, "Yeah, I'm sure they were just coming. I'm sure they were just coming for some light, visit. The core people, they're so nice and really friendly, and it was a joy to have them on our planet, that they really deemed to come to such a low planet like ourselves out here and to actually visit Arid. I think it was very nice of them, and they were very, very welcome."
Benny, I concur. It was nice to see them. And if you wish to tell me anything else in the future, please.
I have your communication number.
You do indeed.
I'll send you jobs over.
Fantastic. We'll speak soon.
Yeah, speak soon. And thanks for your understanding about the other matter.
Benny, we know. We understand.
Yeah, I'm pleased to hear it, Minsk. I know I could count on you.
You're a very loyal person.
Hammond would probably looking up and seeing if he could notice anything, like maybe something tucked in the corner of the room or something.
Make a perception check.
That would probably make more sense. Where are you? PPP.
Yeah, you look around. There's nothing that. Hang on, let me do this the proper way. Let me oppose roll you to see, because that's fairer on you then. Yeah, you look around, you can't see anything on the actual, in the corners of the room or anything like that. Benny's office is not that decorative in any case, so if there is any kind of bugs or sensors there, they're very well hidden. You do give the, Minsk, you do get the impression that Benny doesn't seem to be the sort of person who would allow his accommodation or business premises to be bugged.
But would I know also that there are bugging devices that are being used outside the building, like one of those radar, laser listing devices?
Yeah, well, there's equipment like that, and as Numan will tell you, because it's possible in law enforcement as well, conversation or pictures can be gained from orbit.
Oh, yes.
You know, satellites can look down from on
And who
high.
controls the satellites? There we go.
I'm not,
So, yeah.
Who manufactured our comms devices?
Mm.
Who put the chips inside you, I wonder?
Walkers.
Yeah. Quavers.
Sorry. Flavors.
Yeah, if you don't know what Walker's crisps are, then that's it. Yeah, so that's it. Anything else, Mince, that you would like to ask of Benny before you head out, or anybody else, or any interactions that you would like with Miss Betsy before you go?
I will turn to Hammond and Newman and say, anything you need to know about this?
I think we got all the information we're going to get.
I'm certain she'll tell us more than he has. I like nod at him.
Ouch!
Newman, Benny's here to fix things that we need. And I agree with what you're saying, but he's only given it a certain amount of information. But Newman, you're my boy.
You're my boy.
Let's go find out some stuff.
Okay,
And
then.
with that, we'll walk out. And as I walk out, I want to look at Miss Betsy and say, another time, Miss Betsy.
I am sure, Mr. I almost like, there's almost like the relationship between James Bond and Moneypenny developing.
That's what I was aiming for.
Here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you head out, and let's. Is there anything that anybody would like to do? You don't have a huge amount of time, so you can't sort of like create anything or anything like that. It's just if anybody has. Anybody want to check anything and to use your research skills or anything like that, or are you happy for time to move forward to the next?
Well, I'm assuming we can take my speeder to the airport, to the spaceport. Sorry.
Yeah.
To pick up AB.
So you need to. You need to communicate with her first, and then she'll let you know.
Well. My asking here was, I want to get Hammond to, if you will, go over my my speeder and make sure it's all ship shape and nice looking.
I can probably work on that.
Yeah. So you have a
mechanics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Newman, if possible, I'd like you, my friend Newman. You used to be a cop. You used to do things. Is there a chance you can find out anything about the initials AB and maybe give us a bit of a because she sounds quite famous. Maybe just lay down this kind of money and this kind of just stay away from people, a bit of privacy. Anybody AB in maybe the media or anything that's wanted to get away from things.
That is a good idea. I was considering looking around to see what the current shape of potential threats are in this area. I feel like there's got to be some small town like gang activity in the city of Arid, since there's less of a law enforcement. So going to do an analysis of that, see if there's any threats that she believes might be here.
How dare you think there would be threats in my sleepy mining village?
There is. We've already found out about a bear who's dead.
And people on ATVs shooting at us.
Can I just remind you, you started the barroom brawl last time you were in the Dry Gypsy.
I never did that.
Did we? Did we know? Because they came in. They came and said, "Hey, we're going to beat your ass."
After you had set on them the day before.
Newman isn't drinking anymore.
You don't remember it. See, I could tell you anything at this point.
Newman isn't drinking anymore. He's got his problems with memory solved.
Okay, so
Hammond got an 8 on his mechanics.
Yeah,
so
I saw. So
possibly maybe even tweak up that bike a bit.
It's not a bike, it's a speeder.
It's a land speeder. Yeah.
Speeder bike.
Land speeder.
So
Look the speeder up a bit, not bike speeder.
just to let you sort of like have a good look over the speeder, and you sort of like check everything, and it's running really good. The lucky thing is that you do manage to remove the majority of the sand that was clogging up various intakes, etc. If you hadn't actually looked at it, it would have decreased the performance of the speeder next time you were in it. So although it's not tweaking it up, it's actually preventing it from becoming detrimental. So well done for that. Research. Do you want to do, if you want to do gang knowledge, then that will just be streetwise out on the street. If you want to reference and see if there's any references about somebody called AB, then that would be a research skill.
I was leaning towards the streetwise. Numan is at one with the people and gathering information. I think I don't want to ask about any specific like initial based names, but I would want to ask if that's like a normal thing in any culture. Like, is there a culture where it's like, oh, the new pop stars, they only do 2 letters in their name?
Got ya.
That kind of thing.
So I was just laughing at Medivac's camera because he just sort of like slowly.
I get the remote control to the volume down. Sorry.
He sort of like flickered for a moment, then just disappeared as if he was on some teleportation pad.
Yeah, transportation.
Yeah. Okay. So roll your streetwise first.
Absolutely. Let me just make sure it doesn't. Yep. Perfect. Ooh.
Oh, nice roll. Nice roll.
Be nice if it was opposed.
Yeah. But it does give you some information about the 2 areas. The first thing about Arid itself and the law-abiding folk who lives there, there are a few groups of thugs. It really would be told as thugs. There's no huge amount of crime as such. It's more people who have too much to drink, maybe some kerfuffles over property or rights for the mining. There's no sort of like established underground in Arid. Just like there's no real law issue. It's probably too small for that, but maybe the most important thing is that it can't be patrolled effectively. There's probably small groups of individuals, they don't have names as in the Dark Riders or anything like that, but there's definitely groups of people that associate with each other, and yeah, a bit like the ones that you had your barroom brawl with, that sort of people. Your other inquiry about what's happening in the modern world, so to speak, Arid has a very... Do you have a research skill?
I do, but it is quite low.
Well, still roll it. You'd never know. You might
big
fumble.
Big money. No, bad money.
Oh, bad money. You don't see... Arid doesn't seem to have that sort of connection. Their databases are quite limited. You browse some media articles and videos about popular music, and you don't sort of like see anything interesting at all. I can't really think that Numan is probably up on the pop culture of the time. There's some...
He's not.
There's some
and he's probably visibly angry while he's looking it up.
Yeah, and there's some really strange groups going on, including a group of homogenous members who grow their hair very long and look a bit like the Thing out of
Adam's Family.
Adam's Family. Yeah, so their hair sort of like comes down to their waist, but it's sort of like and they say they are a musical group, but they actually perform by howling in different keys and harmony. So they go, oh, like this. And it's something quite, well, not
It'll
that.
catch on.
Yeah. They're called the Hairy Howlers, if you're interested in gaining any of their merchandise. Or you're not too sure whether or not they're male or female, just to let you know. They wear sort of like long monk's outfit with no waist tail or anything. But they seem to be quite popular at the moment. They have quite a cult following, and that's it. Yeah, and that's all you find.
Howlers.
Hairy Howlers. Yeah, that's what they're called.
The Hairy Howlers.
Newman would definitely be sharing this information over the days
there's no the, just Hairy Howlers.
Hairy. Oh, okay. H&H. True fans know that.
Yeah.
Not me.
And there's 5 of them in the group.
Yeah, well, Newman wants to share his findings on the gang, or the hard quotes thugs, and just so everybody's aware of the thug situation, what might be dealing with, as well as Hairy Howlers.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Hairy Howlers. I'd like to spend a little bit of time and just buying some new clothes. We got 10,000 from the last job, didn't we? Was that each, wasn't it?
I don't remember giving you money, but there you go.
I got 10,000 at the top of my sheet page. Yeah.
We had money in our account, but I don't think we got paid
10,000
for anything.
credits. So that's right, 10,000 credits. Sorry,
Yeah.
yes. I just like to find a local shop and buy some nice new.
Yeah, that's absolutely
clothes.
fine.
So I look smart when I go to the
they'll probably cost you about 100 credits. You can get there. You can. I mean, this is Arid, so the fashion is quite limited here. I mean, you could order online and it'll come in on the next starship, but
no, to be fair, I'm doing it sort of clean.
Yeah.
So I don't have to wash my clothes.
Yeah, so just knock off about 50 credits. Out of character for this part. I'm not too sure whether or not the money is right for your jobs at the moment. So we'll see how it goes and how that contributes to what you want to spend, and then adjust it accordingly. So it's a bit of a learning process. Okay, so who's going to make the call the next morning?
The call.
Well, I will.
Okay.
Who else do you expect?
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to check. I don't know whether or not Hammond wanted to muscle in there for a moment, or Numan. No, maybe not Numan.
It's not Hammond's intention to interject with the captain, but he has his own things in his mind that he wants to create, and he knows that would be the person to get his hands on some of the technology. It's not a power play.
If you do you want to put the call on loudspeaker, Mince, so everybody can hear it or not?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay then.
Always, we share and share alike.
So you.
I'm the captain.
You type in the communication number, and there's a bit of delay because obviously it's being transmitted out into space to a traveling starship. But after a few beep, someone picks up at the other end.
Hi, happy pizzas.
Say again, sorry.
Hi, happy pizzas. What's your order? No, go on. Ignore me.
No, I'm waiting for if you want to say something.
No.
Okay, so
I'll be waiting. I'll be like, hello?
Yeah, and this woman's voice comes across. Yes. Okay,
Hi,
look, if you can't finish it before we arrive, then you need to finish it before we arrive. Okay, that is the only acceptable outcome for this. Wait, please. Yes, well, it is desirable. Wait, no, just get it done. Just get it done. Mal, I think this is from them. Some privacy, please. And there's a pause. And then she says, "Thank you so much for getting in touch.
Hi.
We will be arriving at the Arid settlement in approximately 4 hours. That should be mid-afternoon for you. The starship we are traveling on has a 1-week downtime at Arid, and so we'll maintain our accommodation on the ship, but we'll need your assistance while concluding our business on the planet's surface."
Certainly, but
You will be
how will
working
we
with
recognize you
my
when you
personal
arrive?
bodyguard, Mal. Please do not inquire why I have a personal bodyguard. Apparently, there are some company policies that even I cannot overrule. I hope you realize that there will be some information about this visit that I will not be able to share with you. But I would like to reassure you that all my actions are completely legal. I'm happy to answer any questions you have at the moment, but please do remember my previous comment. You are being paid in excess of the usual rates in order to compensate you all for the restricted information.
I see. Thank you for your clarity. Can you confirm our payment amount, please?
Yes, obviously this was not communicated to you initially by that Scottish fellow. Sadly, it's reassuring that he doesn't do his part of his job. The initial communication which he agreed to was 5,000 credits per day up to a maximum of 1 week. Payment at the end of the job.
Wonderful, thank you.
Anything else?
So we will see you in 4 hours, or we'll see Mal in 4 hours as you arrive.
Yes, okay then. And the communication goes click.
Did that sound to anybody else very recorded almost? Or very scripted?
Definitely a little worrisome, but you know, I think that's what this job is. We're going to find things we're not going to expect. I fixed up our little our vehicle, so that way we are more likely to not fall apart on the way to our next destination.
Okay, that's nice. Oh,
yeah.
Brilliant.
But at this point, I'm just probably going to tinker with some things as we wait for employees.
What are you going to tinker with, Hammond?
I got some ideas now. I think I'm going to use some of my money to kind of start doing some interesting things.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at Numan and said, Numan, what the hell did she mean by finish it before we arrive? In that kind of tone of voice. You heard it, I heard it, Hammond heard it. It sounded a little bit like... That could
be anything.
Finish it before we arrive.
Could be simple precautions for the planet. Could be making some face masks. I considered that it might be good to get them some...
She could have been having a haircut. Could be having a haircut, and she said, "Finish it before."
Finish it before I arrive.
Yeah, there you
could
go.
have been a
Could
meal.
be anything in all honesty.
You suspicious lot! You are so.
I think the biggest thing to concern ourselves. We need to be concerned with where they want us to go and who might be after them. They wanted our protection for a reason. Could just be that they want us to go out into the sands and get some soil samples or something and go off and do their science research, in which case we need to be concerned about the wildlife. But I think they might be running from somebody. So we should keep our eyes peeled for people who stand out.
I'm always suspicious of people, but Numan, this is your field of work. You know what you're doing here. I'm going to give you lead on this.
Does that mean Newman's going point and we'll get hit by anything first?
Newman, I want you to interact with Mal when he arrives. Talk to him. Try to get as much information as you can off Mal when we're meeting. I myself,
I'm going to smooth up to the woman.
No. We will sit back. Any face to face, just call me and I will have a chat. But Numan, you are the lead on this. You have most faith in what you can do. I've seen you in action. I've seen a shotgun.
I mean, I am good at shotgun. Captain, you're asking me to interrogate them as best I can?
No. Just they're coming here to tell us what to do, and you know this how security works. So find out where they want to go, what they need. We'll be here still, but you are the security expert in this.
Numan, before you head out, I actually have a question. With Melanie Fish and the rest of Core here, did you find out anything of why they were here?
Nobody really wants to talk about Core.
And Core's not around now, by the way. They seem
they left, but I just want to see. They seem to obviously be here for a reason because they haven't really had
I asked my friend last session that and he says they're
JJ.
Yeah, JJ. And he was, oh gosh, right, what did he say? Did you wish to know more compass, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so she's very ruthless, but she's normally just around and about keeping control of the sector, but she's on a power trip at the moment.
Yeah, that's always been Melanie's why.
Yeah, that is Melanie Fish, and he has no idea why she was here, apart from, I mean, I put mines down as a thing, but it's not what they said. She's just maybe just showing off and up and down the planet.
I assume to be here for a reason.
I just thought of I should have made it that Melanie and Hammond had a relationship at some time. And that would have been a classic. A classic.
It's still not, that's obviously
he doesn't know. He does not know.
He doesn't know what's happened.
Yep.
Exactly.
He just knows he recognizes he recognizes he doesn't like Core. That's all he knows.
Those little brainworms, they get in there.
Yeah. So she obviously remembered him.
Yes. Interesting that, and gave you rather a cryptic message as well.
Melanie Fish.
Maybe a relationship's going to happen.
Sitting in a tree.
No.
KISSING.
But he does want access to some of the technology because I think he imagines that he wrote the what do you call it, the blueprints for a lot of that technology when he was an engineer for Core. So.
It's actually known to you and said it works.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So she knows that.
Remember that?
He understands their.
I heard that.
Yeah, you did hear that.
Yeah, know what that means. She did say that. Okay, so the next in the mid-afternoon, you arrive at the Arid Starpoint port, ready to meet your client. And when you arrive, you find somebody, Numan, who is obviously security. He's wearing a very smart jacket. He looks somewhat hot and bothered with it. He has Men in Black shades on. You don't think they're just black shades, though. You think they might have some augmentation on it. And he looks quite padded in his upper body. You think he's definitely wearing some kind of body armor underneath his shirt. You also notice that he definitely has a bulge in his jacket that has probably a holstered automatic revolver underneath his left arm for easy access. But he seems very professional. And as you approach him, he approaches you and he puts his hand out quite formally and as if this is the way to do it. And yeah, he sort of like puts his hand out. Are you happy to shake his hand?
Yeah, I'm not impolite.
Yeah, and it's quite a firm grip. You figure he's a pro at this, and he says, Hello, Mr. Minx. My name is Mal. I am Angel's private bodyguard. Thank you for taking the job.
Good to meet you, Mal, but I'm Numan. This is Minx behind me.
Oh, right. Sorry about that.
And I'll spread order. This is my private bodyguard.
You, right.
He likes to have me shake people's hands.
Well, let's just hope that your need for a private bodyguard doesn't interfere with the job. Angel, I'll bring Angel over in a moment, if that's all right. Please call her Miss Bright. She doesn't agree with first name terms, so Miss Bright will be absolutely fine. Yeah, just to give you a bit of a heads up, she would like to go to the closest mine reservation licensing area where all the mines are logged for ownership. You know roughly where that is in Arid. You don't see it as a problem. And then Mal says, any other questions?
Are there any known threats that might interfere with this job?
Well,
from your end, I mean.
Well, only from, the company Miss Bright works for is, shall we say, notorious for unearthing certain corporate secrets.
Understood. It's a good thing to know.
Yeah. Well, is that yours? He looks over at Purdy.
Well, she is around us.
Okay.
I sometimes think she thinks she owns us.
Well, as long as she's been checked and cleared, never happy to have robots around on a security detail. But if you think she's necessary, then so be it.
I'm going to glare at Purdy for a second. Is there any reason why I might feel distrustful of her blank LED light eyes?
Not. She seems to be operating in normal parameters.
Okay, I'll just leave it as a stern glance.
She stares back at you, but mainly because she doesn't have a blinking mechanism. So she's all.
I didn't think she could blink.
Yeah,
I feel
she doesn't. She can't blink at all. So she just sort of like. She will win in any staring competition, no matter what.
She's fine, Mal. Don't worry. She's mostly here to patch up anybody who gets injured. And
he sort of like touches his ear, which basically means that you can see he has a communication earpiece in, and he just sort of like says, "Yes, they're here. Yeah, do come across." And you look over to one side, and a rather tall lady, very slender, but very businesslike. She has a pencil skirt on, rather high heel shoes, a nice white blouse with a jacket on. She seems to be carrying an over-the-shoulder bag. It's bigger than a handbag, but not as big as a rucksack. And she has stylish sunglasses on. And you notice that as she walks towards you, they are quite pale. But as she passes at any areas of direct sunlight, they actually shade over. You think there's some kind of Polaroid.
I like that.
As she gets halfway to the speeder, I'll
she's coming towards. She's coming towards you at the moment before she wants to meet you. Then go to the speeder if necessary.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought it was like next to the speeder.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Still in the starport.
No, that's fine. Yep. Sorry.
And she sort of like comes over. Is it still Numan that's going to do the interaction?
No. I will gently. What she says forward, I will step towards her, and I will be.
I think Mince was stuttery then. He's getting a bit flustered.
It's always the same with these ladies and him.
Yeah.
Hey, I assume you're AB.
Yeah. So, what sort of relationship do you want to have? Professional. Okay. Well, you're
at the moment.
Well, you're influence. Well, let's see who's wearing the trousers in this relationship.
Ooh.
Right. I hope that isn't a skill because.
Oh, definitely.
I'll be with the ladies tonight.
Definitely. That is a very good role. And she sort of like comes up and you act really professionally with her. And you notice that she's really impressed by this. And she...
being close.
Yeah, and she sort of like shakes your hand. And she seems very much at ease, but in a business sort of way. Miss has got the trousers and the full suit. Yeah, and she sort of like comes up and she sort of like shakes your hand, not incredibly firmly, and she sort of like says, Miss Angel Bright, safe haven.
James Minsk, at your service.
Thank you, Mr. Minks. Are we ready to go to the licensing of the mining areas?
I can certainly drive that way right away. Numan, is all secure?
Yes.
Do you not want to do a roll at this point? You just want to say yes.
What's good?
No, I would like to do a roll, but
I'm so glad you said that.
Numan just kind of looks around as we're just standing here.
As I turn around to the car, I was at Hammond. Doors open.
Hang on, Numan, do you want to roll something?
I'd like to be able to, like, while we're with these people, I would want to be looking to see if, like, there's any shifty people following us, especially. Keeping an eye on any, people who, like, follow us.
So, tell me, I know you got Streetwise. Do you have a law enforcement skill at all, knowledge or anything like that?
Knowledge of the law. Might be the closest thing I have. I have decent perception. I have slight, but I don't think that would help here.
Okay, roll your perception, but you can augment it with knowledge of the law.
All right, my knowledge of the law is super good. So it only gives me a small bonus.
There's knowledge of the law, that just means he has knowledge of his shotgun, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, they're two separate skills technically, because I call my combat style the law, and then I have knowledge of the law. And I think I'm going to donate a fortune or a fate point to you, luck point.
Luck point, we call them in
wrong
this
twice.
game. Not that we've been playing this time.
I got lost in Warhammer somehow there. I'd like to use a luck point if I can switch that.
Yeah, so that'd take you down to 18, and you sort of like have a quick look around, and there's nobody that you can see that's actually looks like they're going to interact, or the whole place looks very safe. You also notice that Mal is doing the same. He seems to not being taking a huge notice about the interaction between Miss Bright and Minsk, but more sort of like scanning the area, and he sees you scanning the area too, and makes a gentle professional nod as if to say, oh, we're impressed by this. And and then Minsk, I think you're taking her to the car. And at this point, just before we go for our break, how many people can fit in your land speeder?
I'll get in the trunk.
Two in the front, two in the back, and one of them.
Honestly, we could put Purdy in the trunk.
I think nobody puts Purdy in the corner.
I think I'm right in thinking that it's.
Let me have a look. 2 6. It can sheet 7.
7?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Found it
I
yet.
thought it was like a standard car kind of shape with 2 in the front, 3 in the back if you're cramped.
Give me a second. I was tripping.
You were what? Tripping? What?
Tripping.
Tripping, brah.
Whoa! Target hold 0. Is there anything on here? Size 20, handling 8. No, sorry, I'm going to bow to your superior knowledge on this.
I think it has 4. Because I think I made sure, but I'm just checking just in case I got it incorrect.
I'm calling shotgun.
If it helps at all, Numan isn't built like The Rock. He's built more like Mark Wahlberg.
Oh,
Right.
Size 12.
off.
Let me just. Why don't you use the index in Wills, and then it would be.
Size is only 11.
Okay, well, you're less than Mark Wahlberg then.
A little bit, yeah.
I think it's actually under equipment, if I'm right. I've got a feeling that it is 4. But if I haven't put it on, right, here we go. Land speeder. Yeah, so it's 4-person standard model hover car, which costs 5,000 credits if you're interested. So it's 4.
Right, that's on here. So
4
crew quarters. Well, I'll put crew quarters 4.
Say again, sorry.
So oh, where've you all gone? Oh my goodness. Sorry, my everything dropped down.
So the top and bottom of this is only 2 of you can go in the car. If Mal and
Angel
Bright is going in the back. You do have, say for example, Hammond and Purdy, you can probably make your way there by foot. Or, of course, for 5,000, Hammond, you can actually buy an additional land speeder.
What, right now? Can we buy a taxi from the airport, from the spaceport?
Yeah, I mean, you can go off. I'm quite happy to say that it depends whether or not anybody else has a pilot skill.
I do actually have... It's not great, but hold on, let me look at it. I have... Where are you? I have 31, my pilot.
Well, as long as you've got a pilot skill, then you can operate a hover car. They cost 5,000 credits. So I'm quite happy to say that you thought that there would only be 4 people. So yesterday you bought an additional hover car. What I'm not doing is paying for it.
Why not?
If you want another hover car, it's coming out of your funds.
Can we sell
0 down, no interest for 12 months?
Yay!
Pretty good. That's pretty good. No, maybe I get a hover bike, so I'm cool looking. No.
You had a hover bike and you blew us up.
No, that was actual like real bike. It's not a hover bike.
You can get a speeder bike, which is a hover bike.
No, we need if we're going to get something, we get another hover, another land speeder.
You can have for 10,000 credits. You can have a 2-person fast hover car if you want.
I don't think we have that much money. How much money do we have? I know I had I know what I initially started with.
Well, I've got 10,000 written down here as my money, so I'm assuming we've got 10,000 each.
No, you rolled.
I had less.
Yeah, you rolled.
Oh, we rolled, didn't we? We rolled.
You rolled 3d6s.
Yeah, I had the highest, I think, of all of us when it came to how much.
Let me guess. Was yours 18,000? Was that?
I think it was because I know I had the highest when we all rolled.
So okay. So what I need to know is, I presume Minsk and Zach, Minster and Newman are going in the car.
Newman, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
With
all I
Mal
need to
and
know,
Angel.
Hammond, Purdy will do what she's called. Are you going to get another car to travel as well? Or are you going to go off and do research? What's going to be, or a taxi?
I'll stay with the group and I'll get another vehicle.
Okay. So they be knocked off by 5,000. We'll say that you bought it yesterday.
Actually, I wouldn't. I have the money. I wouldn't mind getting the fast one.
The 10,000 one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the money.
So can you just roll for me, please? Your. We'll come back to it. Hang on, we'll come back to this because it's just gone past. So let's have a break. Let's have till 1:45 the hour to go out and grab ourselves a drink and something to eat, and then we'll come back and we'll see how much you. We'll give you land speed and we'll see how much you actually paid for it. Because I think you have a commerce skill.
I do.
Yeah, which would be fantastic.
For the purpose of buying things so that way I can make terrible weapons.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can make our way to the registry place. Okay, then we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at 1:45 the hour. Please go away, stretch your legs, grab something to eat, and get your, as Darth says, get your space snacks, people. And we'll be back at 1:45 the hour. See you soon. You're having what? Salmon on toast? I ordered, last week I was saying to the stream this afternoon, I ordered Linda McCartney vegetable pie, Linda McCartney mozzarella burgers, Linda McCartney sausage rolls, and Linda McCartney rosemary and onion sausages. And when the order came, I had
one leg.
I had substitutes for the first three, and they substituted all with Linda McCartney sausages. So I had 4 boxes of 8 Linda McCartney sausages to eat through. And then Vindaloo, who was a streamer, a member of the community, he was saying this in the stream that the worst mess up he's ever seen is when somebody ordered a mop and it was substituted with an octopus.
I thought you said fuck it.
Can you imagine trying to mop the floor with an octopus? Well, its tentacles go.
Honestly, it gets the grime off the floor, really. That's what matters the most.
Oh, smoked salmon on toast is nice. That's what Darth says in the chat. Welcome back, adventurers. Okay, Hammond, we need to buy your car. And this is when a conflict pool will come up. And on your character, in the characteristics, it'll say conflict pool. And you should be able to open that. And a conflict pool is related to the associated attribute for the discussion or the conflict. So because we're buying something, your conflict pool is your charisma. Okay, so in that on that conflict pool, just type in your charisma, and that should sort of like change it, hopefully. I
put in 13 on the charisma, and that didn't change the conflict pool. Let
me just see. You can, I think you need to actually remove it from, I think you can actually type straight into the 2 boxes.
Oh, I can, okay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why that, I think what you're meant to do is write down what your conflict pool for each one of those are. So you just, which is a bit silly because it's right next to it. Okay, then. Exactly. So you will be having a conflict with a commerce rolls. So what will happen is that we'll both roll, and the winner, what you do, if you win, then you do 1d6 and you reduce your combat pool by that conflict pool by that amount. Okay. Once you get down to half, you have the option to withdraw from the conflict, or your rolls become hard. Okay, instead of it. So what's your conflict pool?
13.
13. Okay, then so you have a bit of a higher charisma than the person that you're trying to sell your card to. My skill for this is going to be 30. That's my commerce skill roll. So what we're going to, my conflict pool is only 6. And just to let you know, the winner, whoever wins, i.e. they reduce the conflict pool down to 0. Medivac and Mr. Pickles, you might see the comparison to social conflict that we play tested the rules for. This is where they come from. And then whoever wins, you roll a 1d4, and that's the percentage off or on top of price that you get. So you get 1, that would be 10% off, 2 would be 20% off or onto the price. Okay, so yeah, so my roll, like I say, is 30, and my conflict pool is 6. So we both roll now our commerce. So this is my commerce first. So I failed. So roll your commerce. You succeeded, so therefore roll a 1d6, because I'm taking damage on my conflict pool now. 2, brilliant. So now it's down to 4 out of 6. It's not halfway yet. So now we roll it again.
Commerce?
Yeah, I failed my 30%. You succeed, so roll another 1d6. I've got 4 left. 2. Okay, my conflict pool is now down to less than half. So I have a choice. I can either withdraw, or my skill rolls are now hard. Okay, so here's my roll. I failed that. So roll your commerce again. You failed that, so nothing happens at all. Okay, then, and then my last one, that will that'll succeed. Oh, hang on, it needs to be hard.
Yeah.
Let me just change it on this character sheet. Let's just change. This is going to come up as athletics, but it's just for me to see what the so the hard would be 40, would be 20. So yeah, I failed that. So you can.
I'll go ahead with my commerce.
Yeah, go ahead with your commerce.
I failed 2.
Okay, so nothing happens then, and then the next roll, I'm just going to, it is commerce still, but it's just easier to do it this way. I succeed with my hard.
Let's see if I can succeed with my... Ooh!
Oh, yes, you crit. So that, so 1d6 damage.
Let's see what happens. Come on, buddy.
Nice
one.
So
that's what a crit looks like.
Yeah, so you win the social interaction. So you go backwards and forwards over the price of this car and saying how much you want for it, etc., etc. So roll now a 1d4 and let's see whether or not it was worth it. 3.
75% off?
Yeah, so you get 30% off.
No, I was 75% off. Right.
So you get 3. So you get 3,000 off. So you actually buy the hover vehicle for. Which one were you going for? The 10,000 or the 5,000?
The 10,000.
Yeah. So you actually buy it for 7,000 rather than the full amount. So well done. Yeah, so I presume Purdy's traveling with you, Captain Hammond, sorry. Yeah. So she sort of like sits down and she says, "Oh, Arthur, I do love the smell of a brand new car, do you not?"
I can make it smell better.
She says, "Please, I don't want any erroneous gases being vented within the vehicle."
Freddie, just shut up, please.
Yes, Arthur, of course. And you arrive at the marketing, the licensing of mining areas or registration. So this is where you go to register your plot, or to look at which plot is a plot that is registered to somebody else so they can get ownership over it or try to transfer, etc. So there is a shipping container that this all happens with. All I need to know is who's going inside and who's going outside, just so people know. Mal gets out the vehicle, goes around and opens the door for Angel, and she sort of like says to him, "I'll be fine inside, Mal. Please stay here and guard the door." And he says, "Are you sure, Miss Bright? I really think I am sure. It's a place to register land. It's not a bar room."
Minsk will look at Numan and say, "Control perimeter." And he'll also look at Hammond when he pulls up in his nice, shiny, smelling, lovely speeder and say,
"I'm dying
Hammond?
to ask him to make a pilot skill to see whether or not he bumps your car." But
"No!" I'll shake him with my right hand. Hammond, can you pop a drone up?
Better have insurance. No, what? What'd you ask?
Can you put one of your drones up to survey the area as well?
Yeah, I'll set them off.
So your drones will have a bit, because they're set up to intruders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not too sure what to register, because the area's a public place, but you can send one up in any case. Numan, what are you doing? Are you going in or staying guard outside?
If I heard my captain correctly, he asked me to hold the perimeter.
Cool.
Just a quick question. I might have misheard. My internet's a little spacey right now. You said this is a public place? Is this like in town where people are walking on the street next to it?
Exactly.
Or is this... Okay, for some reason I was imagining an abandoned like mining facility.
No,
it's literally like a building where you go to like register a copyright.
Yeah,
as you say.
Yeah,
Register a land claim.
I do actually, if I can set my drone, my surveillance drone. It's not a surveillance drone. It's a security drone, right? It's
you have both. You have a surveillance drone and you have a security drone.
Well, we don't really need Numan to stay outside and watch the perimeter if I have my drone doing that.
Well, I seem to imagine your drone be able to be video fed as well, is it?
Yeah, it's so I imagine, do I have access to its camera on board? On anything on my...
unless you alter them within downtime, then basically your security drone, if you remember to have objectives assigned to them, and until you tinker and change those objectives. So the security drone, its objective is to identify visitors and stop unauthorized persons. So it has an ID scanner built in, so it can probably log anybody who's entering, but it wouldn't pick up unauthorized people because everybody is authorized. Yeah. I think the other one is your guard bot, and that one objective is to stop intruders. So your best bet is to send up your security drone and maybe monitor personal IDs and see who actually comes in. You can do that from within your car if you wish.
Okay, I can
So-
do that. Yeah.
If which is the case, if you're doing that, I agree with Hammond, and I will send it over the comms. I'll say, Hammond, I agree with your what you said. So Newman, do you want to follow us inside?
Can do.
Okay,
In
so
fact, Newman, do you want to lead the way inside?
Minsk and
Yes, I'll get the door for you.
Yeah, so Minsk and Newman, you're heading inside. Arthur Hammond's in the car with Purdy, and Mal is standing guard outside as ordered. And this place is a real. It's not it doesn't look like a real business when you get inside at all. It almost like seems to be 3 or 4 desks and people making random lines, a straight line, sorry, through sort of like a roped area, a bit like at the beginning of Loki, if you've seen it, when he had to go round, but it's just one, and then you get to the front and somebody sort of like holds up their hand, and there's only 3 people ahead of Angel Brighton, but she seems to you're not too sure, but she might have the authority or the presence to actually go straight to a table, but she's not. She's waiting in line like everyone else. She had a bit of trouble with the sand with her high shoes when she came across from the car. And you notice, Minx, that she dusts herself off as she comes out of your car. You're not too sure. She might have a bit of robot oil stain on the back, but you think you've got away with it.
I'm not going to tell her.
Yeah, and she sort of like waits in line. Minsk and Newman, are you waiting with her, or what's going to be your plan?
I'll wait with her. I would have thought I lost Newman. Newman, just keep an eye out.
Yeah, I mean, that's my plan in general. As I said earlier, this is to Animals. My plan is still looking around at people, see if there's anybody who looks like they're following us.
Okay, then.
But since we're in a building, it's most likely just looking around at people. And
yeah, and you sort of like sit around, not so like scanning the area, and she slowly moves down the line, and then she eventually goes off to one of the tables. And are you going to go to the table with her, Minsk, or are you keeping your distance? What?
I'm going to take a position of standing behind her left shoulder. In fact, no, I'm going to take a position of standing behind her right shoulder.
Okay.
But not too close, but within earshot.
That's what matters. It's the shoulder.
No, it's my pop-out gun.
Got it.
And just within earshot, so I can hear what's being said.
Yeah.
But in not an obvious way.
Yeah, and you're sort of like hovering around there, and she puts the satchel on the bag on the table, and she sort of like starts a conversation with the person and says, so this is how you can help me. I'm wondering who owns these lands, and she brings out a document and hands it across. It's on a data pad. She does become aware that you are nearby Minsk, and she turns around and says, thank you, Mr. Minsk, for bringing me so far. I think a more suitable distance would be advisable.
I will nod my head to her and say, no problem, madam. And I will take 3 steps back.
Okay. And you sort of like take a step back, and people are following the line.
Which is, I will be facing away from her.
Okay, then.
At this point, so I want to be looking around to make sure nobody's coming behind her, and etc.
Yeah, so roll a perception roll hard. I want to see what information you pick up overhearing. Newman,
skill ever.
Newman, I presume that you're farther away. Is that correct?
I am probably giving privacy.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's what was the law in the contract.
Yeah.
For those in the UK, that's privacy.
Well, Newman's a filthy American.
Touche, sir. Touche.
Are you looking at or anything?
No.
No. Okay, you hear some glimpses of little parts of discussion. She seems to be trying to follow up who's owning what and who owns this piece of site. And she seems to get a little bit frustrated because the answer, which you don't hear, is not the answer that she actually seems to want. And she starts to question the man and ask them again. And they sort of like says, look, madam, I really cannot help you. Just look again. And she seems to be completely involved with this. People inside the shipping container, you won't know this until Hammond actually communicates it, or Purdy. So while they're doing that, Hammond, Mal's outside, and you notice that a vehicle pulls up that seems to be almost like a law enforcer's vehicle. There, like I've mentioned before, there is a presence here, but not a huge amount, and they seem to wear some kind of uniform to identify them. And
is their authority core, or is it this?
No, their authority is Arid.
Okay.
So, and they pull up their car, their hover car nearby, and get out, and they seem to be coming across, and they seem to be focusing. Two of them seem to be approaching Mal, and they interrupt me at any time when you want to do something.
I'm gonna do a comms check really quick. Looks like we got some company, so maybe hurry up in there. I'm also gonna exit out of my vehicle, and maybe approach with Mal.
Yeah, so you sort of like get out of your vehicle just at that after doing the communication, and you arrive at Mal at the same time as the two law enforcers arrive. You do notice that their weapons are holstered on the outside, but their clips are off them, so to allow them to be drawn. But they're still in the holsters. And
Mal's female, right?
Yeah, he's just sort of like keeping very stoic.
He's male. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, he stood there very stoically, and he's got his shades on. He's doing his classic Men in Black sort of like stance, and just sort of like his head's going backwards and forwards as in some kind of patrol, as if he's just going as if he's scanning backwards and forwards, and he seems to not register the two law enforcers as any kind of threat, so he doesn't engage with them until they're quite close to him, and then he sort of like, as they get almost like in very close range to start hitting, his attention suddenly switches to them, and the law enforcers look at him and say, excuse me, sir, can we see your ID, please? Hammond, they're not saying this to you, they seem to be saying it specifically to Mal. Mal's...
I'm gonna approach. Sorry, I don't want to interject when you're trying to describe. I want to approach Mal. Where have you? Oh, Mal, where have you been?
Yeah, and at that point, as soon as you start getting close or start to say something, the law enforcer at your side puts a flat hand out, not to hit you or anything, but to say, and he sort of like, the other one,
police business.
Yeah, not the one that was talking to Mal. The other one says, "Please, sir, stay back. Police business here."
Officer. I don't mean to intrude. It's just my friend. He's just sitting here. What seems to be the issue?
And he turns around to you and says, "Sorry, sir. Please step back and away from the situation. We will hear from you in due course if we require that."
Oh, that's fine. I just want to see maybe my friend here. He's a, he likes to get lost sometimes.
And he
He's not
turns to
really
you
there.
and says, "Sir, back away. Let us do our business. Otherwise, you will be spending a night in the cells due to stopping police actions here."
Oh, of course. Yes. I'm going to stand just a little bit off, but not too far.
Yeah.
So that way I
And
probably
the law enforcer next to you sort of like he's watching you now more than Mal. And the other guy says, "Please, sir, can I see your identification?" And he sort of like brings out a card, and the law enforcer scans the card and then holds him up and reads his identity chip that's implanted, and then says, what is your purpose on Arid?" And Mal said, I'm here to protect. I'm a bodyguard of Miss Angel Bright from Safe Haven, the company Safe Haven. "Oh, right, we see. Well, your picture matches a communication that we had that you were armed and dangerous."
My friend Mal? No, of course not. He's just a good, nice guy. He's only here for a job.
Yeah, the other police turns full onto you now and said, just says to you, "Sir, you have one more warning before."
Of course.
"Step away and go about your businesses. Do not interfere with police business." And
Of course,
you notice at that point he's actually almost like readies his weapon. He's not drawing it, but he sort of like removes anything from the way so he can actually draw it quite quickly. And you can hear that the other guy is sort of like saying, we had a communication that you were armed and dangerous." And Mal says, "Well," he says, I am armed." And he goes to open his suit jacket, and the other law enforcer takes a step back and says, "Easy, easy." And he sort of like, Mal sort of like opens his jacket to reveal his firearm underneath. And the guy says, "Okay," he says, "take it out carefully with your left hand, hold with your finger through the trigger guard." And Mal sort of like takes it out, and so it's balanced on his finger. And the police officer the law enforcer says, "And just drop it." And he sort of like drops it to the floor. And then the police officer says, "Please, sir, turn around and put your hands against the shipping container." And Mal sort of like says, "Sorry, I think there must be a bit of it." And the law enforcer says, "Hands on the shipping container, sir." Like that, as if...
Sir, this seems very, very unneeded. He's just here.
At that point,
for quick protection.
At that point, the other law enforcer who you've been interacting with says, "Sir, please put your hand up against the shipping container."
I'm gonna try to face. Hopefully, the entire time this conversation, I'm communicating with the people inside, because I was communicating beforehand, and I kind of want to face like where I'm facing towards the entrance of the shipping container. So his back would be, if he's facing me, his back would be towards the fish.
So he's just told you to put your hands on the shipping container. So Mal's got his hands on the shipping container to the right of the door. You're probably to the left of the door. So are you complying?
I just have my hands up. It's like, hey.
Yeah.
No issue here. We're only here on business. There's no issue that we should have.
Yeah, he just sort of like says, he almost like bellows at you now. So hands on the shipping container, and he sort of like bellows, "Now!"
Right. I'm putting my hands on the shipping container, and hopefully that makes sense with the communication inside.
Yeah, and once you're, he sort of like comes and sort of like makes moves over to you, and you can see he's scanning your ID chip. And are you carrying any weapons at the moment?
I just have my my blaster.
Yeah, and he notices the blaster, and he unholsters it and sort of like puts it carefully behind him, maybe on the boot of your car or the trunk of your car. And while you're sort of like in this arrested position, you can hear the conversation that is happening between the other police officer and Mal, and they seem to be saying that he's under arrest until further information can be gathered about his purpose on here. And Mal is sort of like saying, my boss is inside, she will be able to make it all clear. And they're sort of like saying, if we need to arrest her, we will do that as well. You know, and this is all going over, so it looks very much like Mal and possibly Hammond at the moment might be arrested.
Numan, you're hearing all this, yeah? I'm not. This is out of character. Sorry. Do you think this is normal, or do you think this is like a setup?
When you say out of character, what do you mean?
I'm just wondering if Numan's.
Yeah, because it can't be. You would talk to Mr. Pickles rather than talking to Newman out of character.
Mr. Pickles.
I'm Bartleby Newman. It's whatever.
Yeah. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Would I be able to roll based on what the brief like garbled parts I've gotten through the communication, would I be able to roll knowledge of the law to answer the question Medivac asked?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If Medivac is asking Mr. Pickles, then your character can't do something because it's out of character. If Minsk and Newman are listening to the conversation that Hammond's transmitted, then Minsk can say to
Newman, that's how I should have done it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I should have. Newman, is this right? Can the local law enforcement do this?
You can roll your knowledge.
I like to imagine that we're only like 4 or 5 feet or whatever away, but you still went to your comms to ask me.
Yeah.
Makes it look more official.
Knowledge.
But it's also the fact when you're talking, you lean out. Can I do this?
Are you looking it?
I think I probably should.
Nice. So, you know that any person could be arrested if there's cause. So you can arrest somebody if they're suspected of something, if you're following up information. Anybody would be encouraged to come via their own will to answer questions, but if the cause or the actions that they've heard about or think might have happened is very dangerous, then they don't actually need to, they can arrest somebody and then interview them at the station, and that would be completely acceptable. So they seem to be following
the official word.
Yeah, they seem to be following the letter of the law in that sense.
That's like a lot of law for anybody to pull up and say, well, we're just from the letter of the law. This
But
guy's been on the planet for like 2 minutes.
But they are law enforcers.
Yeah, Minx, this is, since Hammond is likely mouthing off to them, are we going to go and try and persuade the cops to let him go this time, or should we just meet them at the station to bail him out?
I don't want to leave Angel Brighton here alone.
Well, I'm here.
You're the most capable person to protect her. Because even though I'm pretty damn good with my little blaster, you're so much better. And you can keep an eye on things. So I'll go and have a look and see why they're bothering Mal.
Okay then. So
I'll walk closer to Angel Miss Bright, I should say, but still giving her privacy. I'm just getting within her radius.
Yeah,
I guess.
and Minx, by the time you get to the door, you notice that they've cuffed Mal, and are leading him to. One of them is leading them to the police vehicle, and Mal seems to be saying things like, very much like, "Sorry, the person I'm protecting I'm the bodyguard. Please go in and so and so, so and so." And at the same time, the police officer, the law enforcement officer, is being really good and sort of like, "Please, sir, just move along to the car. Move along to the car." And as you come out of the door, you see, and to your right, you see Hammond with his hands up against the shipping container, and the police and the law enforcer saying, "Look, sir, I'm going to leave you today and not actually arrest you, but please remember that you are not allowed to resist or interfere with law enforcement business. You really need to learn. This is your warning. I would have thought at your age you would know more, have more sense about it, but obviously not. We've got
back in my day, we don't have police officers.
Yeah, well, we've got your details.
Abusing their authority.
We've got your details now. I suggest you just stay out of police business in the future. Your blaster's on the vehicle." And he then turns round and starts walking back to the car to meet up with Mal and the other law enforcer. Yeah, Minsk, what would you like to do?
I'd like to step forward with not too much of a gust, do you know what I mean? That kind of like, just one moment sort of step, that sort of step, saying, "Hello, my friends. What? I was inside, and this chappie here has been."
Yeah, so the law enforcement officer that's near to you would be the one that Hammond
had. Yeah,
the one that's got Mal is almost like halfway across the road to the car.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go for the first one and just talk to him. I say, "My friend, sorry, on. We were inside, and I've come out here, and all of a sudden, my friend over there is hands up, no weapon, and I totally understand the laws, but you're taking away somebody who's been on this planet for less than an hour."
He sort of like looks at you and says,
"Is there a reason?"
He says to you, he says, "I'm sorry, sir. It doesn't actually matter how long anybody's been on the planet. If we have just cause by the letter of the law, we are allowed to arrest people. Secondly, we're not actually at liberty to disclose why we are arresting your bodyguard. But please do not..."
It's not my bodyguard. I'm just interested. I'm just, I'm just nosy.
Sorry,
really.
sir.
I mean,
sorry, sir. Bystanders should keep well away from police business.
As you all understand, anonymous claims are obviously just same thing as committing a crime, apparently, to this officer.
And the officer's just ignoring Hammond now. It's just sort of like carries on, and you can see that they're bundling Mal into the...
So, can you tell me, officer, where are you taking this gentleman?
He sort of like says, "To the station."
Sorry, my memory is a bit lapsed at the moment, but whereabouts is that?
You know where it is in Arid.
Oh, we know where it is. Yeah. Right. Okay, so you wouldn't mind if we followed along?
He's looking really puzzled now, because he's trying to put together why a bystander would be wanting to follow along afterwards. He sort of like says, "Sorry," he says, "Are you definitely not is this definitely not your bodyguard?"
No, it's not my bodyguard, no.
Right. And so what relationship do you have with the arrested?
He's the bodyguard of the lady that I'm guarding.
So she has two bodyguards.
She has many bodyguards.
She'll be safe then with just one down. He says, you'll be able to make inquiries at the station. Do come down straight away. It's up to you.
We'll be right behind you.
Yeah. Okay, then. So he bundles Mal into the vehicle. So, yeah, what's the rest of you doing now? Hammond, you can pick up your blaster.
All right, I'll pick up my blaster. How about this? You two and Purdy stay together over there. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Should we split up? I don't think we need all of us to go follow them to the police station. But also, when we get to the police station, I don't think we can do anything.
No, my thing, Hammond, is making sure that Mal's okay, and it's not some kind of thing to draw Mal away from Angel.
It's almost certainly that.
It seems very strange taking away her chief bodyguard.
But of course, but at the same time, we should also make sure we watch her, more closely, because we are the only thing she has protection now, and right now she seems to be in that building right there by herself.
No, we have a Numan.
Minsk.
Yeah, I'm in the
okay.
building.
Yeah. Sorry, Minsk, Numan, and Hammond. Could you all roll perception rolls for me?
Perception.
Yeah.
So you pick something else. But not today.
Oh,
I like perception.
that's a good roll. Okay then. Minsk and Numan. Okay. Could you please also roll for me your evade rolls?
Behave.
Oh no.
Oh, behave.
Oh!
Look at you!
Oh! Nothing.
Do I need to roll now? Does that count for both of us?
No, you still roll as well.
Oh,
I leap out of the building and grab you guys out of the way.
I forget a 0-0. Oh,
right. Okay,
no.
then.
Can I reverse that?
So this is this is what happens.
Can I use a point of luck?
You can use a point of luck if you wish.
Two. Let's re-roll evade, my worst skill in the world.
Still doesn't
I
matter.
can't do it twice.
Okay then. So while Minsk and Hammond are talking outside, Purdy's in the car. Angel Bright finishes her business and starts to walk towards the door. However, as she walks to the door, two of you notice something. Minsk and Numan, you both on your perception rolls notice something, and it's quite strange. You see almost like a reflection of something that catches your eye on a container about 2 away from the top of it. And you both turn round, and there's definitely somebody up there that seems to be firing a weapon. And from that distance, they pop off a shot. And you do see it. But the other thing is, Numan, you react the quickest. Your instincts click in. And even though Minsk, you see it, it's sort of like you're a lot slower about what to do, etc., etc. You sort of go, oh no, turn around and follow the gaze of the direction of probably where the bullet is coming, and see that it's aimed straight for Angel Bright. However, Numan is quicker, and he moves like a professional. And even though he notices the flash of light or whatever from 3 blocks down, and doesn't think at all. His instincts click out in, and with a wonderful evade roll, he dives to one side to avoid the shot, but he doesn't just dive to one side. He dives with Angel Bright, and he sort of like launches himself at her, takes her down as the shot clearly goes from where she would be, Numan, where she would have been. And you just sort of like take her down as you push her to the ground, but you go down as well. And then the bullet sort of like goes past you and fires into the container. And then seconds later, you hear the gunshot. It wasn't silenced or anything. And you sort of like dive to one side. Minsk, you sort of like see the bullet fly. I must admit, Numan, that is a good roll to have at this time.
Thank you. I was saving it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Newman's just Minsk is just sat there going, and
yeah. And he's sort of like, so Minsk, you sort of like see the gun or the flash of light and look back and notice that Numan has taken Angel Bright out the way. I think one of you, and I forget who said it, you mentioned that it looks like they might just want Mal out of the way.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, you're Minsk, you are completely correct. That is exactly what it looks like has happened.
Dirty cops.
But Numan, you have saved Angel Bright. Now, just to let you know, there's a bit of kerfuffle going on now. There's been shots fired in the streets. The law enforcers hadn't driven off or anything and sort of like draw their weapons and were shouting around to everyone, "Get down! Get down!" And Purdy's just sort of like goes and falls sideways.
Oh no!
So she's down because she can't fall forward. So she's sort of like, she is down. She hasn't been hit or anything. Mince, did you think she was being hit?
No, well, I did, but it's like get down. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. She does sort of like,
timber.
All we gotta do is a quick repair, like in mechanics or something.
yes, you can. And electronics. There's a lot of electronics in, and there's quite a kerfuffle now. And Mal is shouting to get these off him, like this, and the law enforcers are sort of like this with their weapons out, scanning the areas, and you can see one of them is onto communication and said, shot fired, licensing in the mine licensing area of block 42 by 56. Send backup. Yeah. Numan, you're down with Angel Bright, and Minsk and Hammond, you're outside. So Minsk and Hammond, you are probably the first people to react after Numan has taken Angel Bright down. What would you like to do?
First thing I'd like to do is as a reaction, I'd like to point at the officer at the car and go,
Told you!
It's a setup. You've taken away her bodyguard. How much did they pay you?
Okay. So you're sort of like engaging with an argument with the law enforcers. Hammond, what would you like to do?
Hammond's going to dive behind his new flashy car. Cover.
Yeah, and you sort of like take cover, and means you're talking to the other people.
I'm shouting to make sure everyone can hear.
Yeah, and the law enforcers said, "Get down, sir! Get down! Take cover!" And at that point, there's another shot fired.
No. I'm immune to bullets.
It's not real in it.
Oh yes. It's 2, which is on his skill is actually a crit, and the shot seems to come very close to you, Minsk. So close that you actually do a flinch, and it seemed to be aimed in the side of the container that Numan took Angel Bright down on. So they're firing into that area to see. Now, what I need to do is roll the damage. To see whether or not I get through the whatchamacallit. Don't worry about this.
We're worried. Shut up.
So sniper rifle's damage is 2d8 plus 4. So yeah, it could actually take your head off. That's actually not a very good roll, really. That's a 3 and a 5.
Yes, it could be 20.
Yeah. So that goes down, and that, let me just mark it off. Yeah, that's that fires into the container, and it's not penetrated it, but it has made a dent in it at this distance, and it looks like Numan, from inside, you can see it actually bevels inward, if you know what I mean, as it sort of like hits. It's a little bit too high. It's as if she had just moved inside. It seems to be almost at head height where she might have been. And yeah, so we come back around. So yeah, Numan, you are down with Angel Bright, not as in down with the kids, but down on the floor. What would you like to do, Numan?
Just to clarify, we're inside the shipping
You're
container?
inside, yeah.
Okay. I think since Newman's running on instinct, he'd want to shout out to the cops, like kind of using his cop talk to say he's on the roof, due south, or his best guess at the direction.
Okay then. So yeah, you sort of like shout out orders about whereabouts it is. Angel Bright, she's conscious and everything. You think she's probably in roll your first aid skill.
Ooh, I am not good at assessing damage. Oops.
How many times?
Fails.
Yeah, I was going. Okay, you sort of like look at her. She doesn't look right, but you're not too sure. She could be in shock, or she could be having a baby. You're not too sure which one it is, but she's definitely not right. She does have you sort of like hunkering over her. Hammond, you've got cover at the moment. What would you like to do?
I'm going to send my security bot to fly up and try to distract the sniper.
Okay, then. So roll your... do you have a robotic skill?
Is that an option?
Or is it electronics that you have?
I think it's electronics.
Yeah.
Electronics. Yeah.
Okay, then. So just...
I don't remember robotics being an option.
Cool, yeah.
But...
Just roll your electronics then.
I'm going to use my second luck of the day
to reverse it.
Reverse it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you reverse that and sort of like send your drone out there. Purdy's still down in the car. Minsk, what would you like to do? I've never known Minsk to be so brave.
I know. It's the wrong move.
How many hit points do you have in your head?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to run for my speeder. And when I get to my speeder, the whole plan, let me lay this out for you. I run to my speeder and then move to the door, get everybody inside and go.
Okay, then. So you move round and get into your speeder. That could be your action. It seems that something has distracted the sniper at this point. and they roll. Yeah, and they see the drone approaching, and they adjust and fire at it. They hit it. You do have. Let me just check. Yeah, that's what I was just looking to see whether or not they have evade skill. You've got it there. Do you have your details for your drone, Captain?
I feel like I did. It's just a robotics drone. I didn't change anything, or no, not robotics. It's a security drone. So I haven't changed anything. So it's whatever is stock.
Yeah, got you. Hang on. Let's just have a look. Okay then. So roll a d20, a percentile dice. It does have a skill of 50%, so that will be its try to evade it. So it can't evade it as it comes through, and the sniper rifle fires off. It does 15 points of damage to your security drone. It has 2 points of armor, which will take it off, and then it has 6 hit points. So as it sort of like flies towards it, there's a pause, and then you just see it go boom like that and fall to the ground in 2 or 3 bits, and then you hear the snap of the rifle going off. Nice move. You probably saved Minsk there, but don't tell him.
Hey, get some cover, Minsk. Interesting.
So Minsk, you get round in the. You can all hear sirens going off at the moment, and from either direction you can see billowing sand as the hover vehicles are going at full speed, blowing up sand. The police are still the law enforcers are still sort of like crouched down, aiming around. And we come back to you, Zach Numan. What would you like to do?
This might take a few passes on the turn scale here, but my goal is to get up, have my shotgun drawn, and put myself in between the wall that they were firing at I want to get ready for them to potentially go into the room, or if a bullet comes through, try and block it with my armor and belly.
Okay, so through the doorway or through the actual container? Beforehand, you were in the inside and you saw the bullet was fired roughly where you were, but the metal stopped it.
Yeah, and I'd like to keep using this metal until I get a chance to comms my allies.
Okay then.
So we're keeping cover, and I'm preparing for people to enter this building, I guess.
Angel Bright is sort of like looking, she's struggling. You can't decide whether or not she's struggling to stand up or struggling to crawl away, one or the other. She sort of looks at you expecting to have some sort of order or instruction from you. What will you tell her to do?
I'll sternly look at her and say, get up, they might be coming soon.
And she sort of like stumbles up and pick a number between 1 and 6.
5.
Yeah, she manages to get up. None of her high heel shoes are broken or anything like that. She sort of like slips them back, back up, and there seems to be a commotion inside the office as well. People are saying, what's going on, what's going on? And people say, just keep down, there's a sniper, and the law enforcers are arriving, and I'm going to use my luck at this point, and I'm going to use all 4 of them, okay, and I'm going to use them all at once, and say, no matter what, my snipers has got away.
But I have 3 luck points left too.
But remember, the rules. You can only use luck point on 1 action, and that's it.
Yeah, but can I use them to reverse your action?
No.
What's the droid you're looking for?
If we all use our luck points right now, it's like reverse.
Yeah, reverse. To
me, to you.
Yeah, so the sniper, you're not too sure who they are or what they were. You're a security drone down. That is quite serious. I don't think there'll be anything... Well, I did double the amount of points to it. So it's definitely a major wound, and it probably fell from a height as well. You can probably gather the pieces if you wish and try to put
see what's salvageable.
Yeah. So you can go in and get collect those. And Angel Bright struggles to her feet, Numan. She looks very disheveled. Her perfectly white blouse is untucked at one of the sides, and you think she's lost a button. Her hair's all sort of like ruffled, and her glasses were on the floor. Let's just...
she's really struggling. I'll offer her a hand.
Mince,
to help her up.
Pick a number between 1 and 6.
I would like number 4.
Number 4? Yeah, her glasses don't seem to be broken. They just seem to be knocked off, and she sort of like struggles to... Her lovely straight hair is all a bit of a mess, and she sort of like staggers closer to you, Numan, as if you're now her protector. And she says, where is that goddamn Mal? Where's Mal?
Well, I think the police taken him away.
Police?
No, we can approach the police at this point. They didn't go off yet.
No, the 2 law enforcers have still got their guns drawn, but there's more law enforcers arriving on scene since there's been probably the whole station.
Do I notice Hammond going to the police?
I mean, you're in your car, aren't you, Minsk? So Hammond.
If I saw Hammond go to the police, I'd be like, Hammond, no.
I want to go to the police.
Bad dog.
Sit.
I have so much pent up rage for police that I am about to use it right now.
Hammond, they were set up as well.
So
somebody
it was obvious, but they need to know that there's incompetent.
Yeah, let Mal go to jail for the night. They'll realize in the morning and let him out.
You figured the whole police force is on site now, all 8 of them, and the sort of like Angel Bright comes out and quickly sees Mal in the law enforcer's car. And she sort of like, you see her physically readjust herself and sort of like look, sorts out her hair and tucks in her blouse and does up a button if it's still there, and then sort of like goes over to one of the law enforcers, and as she gets close, she shows her card or her ID, and they scan her chip, and they sort of like say, sorry, Miss Bright, we didn't realize this was a company matter. And she sort of like says, you hear her says, yes, it is a company matter, and I would like to know who told you to arrest my bodyguard. And they sort of say, well, I'm sorry. And a rather portly looking man comes across and sort of like talks in a very high upper management style and sort of like says, oh, I am dreadfully sorry, Miss Bright. We were acting under orders. We had an unknown tip-off that there was somebody who was armed and dangerous waiting outside the area for licensing, land licensing and minor licensing. We were always, and she sort of like says, Chief, I need to see that communication, and it's registers at an anonymous call. And the police sort of like, the law enforcement says, I hope you understand that we have to take everything of this nature very seriously, Miss Bright. And she says, please, she says, next time you want to talk to my bodyguard, please come through me first. If it wasn't for this gallant and heroic man, and she sort of like gestures to, I like that. That was so funny because I was talking and then I suddenly looked at Mr. Pickle's camera and he was going, as if to say, who? There's somebody.
I'm just doing my job, man.
And she sort of like says, if it wasn't for this bodyguard, this hero here, I would have been dead by now. And she sort of like, he sort of like, I'm dreadfully sorry. We didn't realize that it was a personal attack on you. Miss Bright, we're aware that you're on the site now, but please tell us, is there anybody who would threaten your life of an any? And she says, she turns to him and sort of like says, that is none of your concern. That is a private matter. Please release my bodyguard. And they sort of like say, oh, yes, of course. Does anybody have corporate, a skill in corporate knowledge or anything like that? Just
I literally do.
Just roll it now.
Give me a second. I was skilled in everything pretty much.
It's corporate practices.
That'll do, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you are aware, Hammond, that certain people in corporations outstump the local law enforcers. Okay, so, and it's Numan, you would recognize this from the other way round, but you sort of have law enforcers, but you have certain people in company that actually can trump that. And it seems that Angel Bright is one of these people. There was definitely something in her ID scan that made the law enforcers almost like step back a bit. And yeah, and sort of like take a step back and pass over. And they release Mal, and she sort of like gives them a final ticking off. And she comes over to you, Minsk, who's in your car, and says, I need to go back to the starport now, please. And Mal opens the car door and goes to get in and the back with her. And she says, no, Mal, ride in the front. Mr. Numan, please accompany me in the back. And
I nod and do so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with her.
And that's,
I'm going to get in my car, but I'm also going to make sure I'm going to make eye contact with the policeman that was about to arrest me. And I give him a nice big.
right. So you tried to get into your car, Hammond, but of course Purdy's lying across your seat, so you'll have to sort of like prop her up or tell her.
I'll prop her up.
Yeah, she sort of says, "That was rather exciting, Mr. Hammond, wasn't it? Arthur, was anybody hurt? I am a medical robot."
Are you able to fix my droid?
Sadly, I do not have the skills for non-organic specimens.
Don't worry. Next time when you need cannon fodder, I'll make sure to use you instead.
That is totally acceptable. I'm more than happy to take a bullet for you, Arthur. As you know, I cannot allow you to be harmed. that is part of the robotic law, Arthur.
Yeah, it's nice that you spend the entire time when we're all getting shot at inside here, but whatever. I close the door.
I just follow orders, Arthur. Somebody shouted, "Take cover."
Right, of course.
Not a problem. I hope you're having a wonderful day.
Brand new car.
Buddy, shut up.
Of course, Arthur. And it sort of like head back to the starport, and Angel Bright seems to have the information that she needs, that she's actually got there, and she sort of like says that she will be going back to her berth in the starship. It's a place that you can't gain access to it, but you feel safe that she's probably traveled on that with Mal. And however, once she's on board, there should be some things that you might want to check up. Is there any leads that you want to check up on?
Yeah. What site was she looking at?
Yeah, you're not aware of that. You might. There was a company that was mentioned.
Oh, yes. I would like to just Safe Haven.
Yeah. Okay then. So just before we break, let me just give you a bit of information about Safe Haven. Can you just roll somebody roll a computer skill check so I know how much to give you?
Probably gonna be me.
Okay, cool.
One case, yeah.
Not me.
No, you're just a bodyguard hero with your critical. Yeah. Okay then. So.
Wow, that's good.
This is what you find out. Okay. Once you've got the Safe Haven link, you suddenly find that Angel Bright is part of the Safe Haven company. Now, Safe Haven is a company that deals with correcting wrongs to rights about the environment, anybody who's ill-treated. It's almost like a modern day Amnesty International or something like that, or Greenpeace or things like that. There is some information that you find that there seems to be some current investigation going on with another company called Z Corp, and it's just, I would pronounce it Z-Corp. I would pronounce it Z Corp, but it's actually pronounced Z Corp in the American way. So Safe Haven is very much a Greenpeace one, and Z Corp is a pharmaceutical corporation, and there's various reports of almost like, let's just say they probably have few morals or values at all. Public facing, they deal with medicines and drugs and creating them. However, there was very recently an article that involved that allegedly, although all accusations were dropped in a court of law, that that Z Corp was in the creating a brain enhancing drug that could have positive effects on people's IQ. However, the media crisis wasn't over the fact that they were doing that. It was brought to the attention that they were actually carrying out human trials on a group of pre-evolved humans on a planet across the solar system that you're not aware of. So it wasn't the fact that they were creating the drugs that was totally acceptable. What it was that they were actually illegally using pre-evolved humans. And you notice that that report about how that was brought about was done by the your current client,
Employer.
Angel Bright, working on behalf of Safe Haven. She seems to be quite a dynamic troubleshooter or reporter type figure. She's probably more involved in on the ground action rather than office.
So it's, you know, it could be many things. You know, it could not be Z Corp, but it could be other things as well. But I'm quite confident Z Corp has hired a mercenary or assassin to murder our co-employer.
That's a huge jump there, but well, I'm not going to say anything. Okay.
She's our future Vicky Vale, isn't she?
Yes.
Vicky Vale.
Yeah. So just so you know, now that you've got those information, I'll make those available on the World Anvil site, so you'll be able to actually see the description about Z Corp and Safe Haven as well. Okay, and yeah, thank you. I'm only 3 minutes over, but I thought it'd be good to give you that piece of information so you can have a think about things next time. So when next time we play, it'll be day 2 of your protection of Angel Bright, and the interesting thing will be how you're going to do it. Yeah, go for it, Minsk.
Day 2, but she's at the ship now, so she's out of our control.
Yeah, so she's staying overnight on the ship.
Ah,
the
starship. Then she's going to come back out again.
Yeah. Yeah, the starship, if you remember, it's staying here
7
for
days.
Yeah. So she didn't really want to. There's no really posh hotels in Arid.
No. We do have a Newman.
Yeah, well, heroic Numan. Numan, the hero.
Sorry.
I'm the one that has sacrificed my own personal property to save your ass.
Well, I'm just the one who got a lucky roll.
Do you want to know that crit roll? I just didn't believe it when it came up. I thought somebody might have to look or something like that, but you know,
that's amazing. Really well done. It was like a true story being folding out.
A little bit too well done, if you ask me. I will check for macros. What's this?
Check his dice. Check his dice.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, thank you for watching us tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. The first part of a new adventure. It's always nice to come on the first bit so you can make notes just as the players make notes to see whether or not you can crack it before they do. But there'll be more action next Saturday if we can all play, and we'll be able to see what happens on the second day of protection, because the first day has been very exciting. We've had drones blown up, we've had Numan saving people, we've had Mince.
I felt like JFK.
Yeah.
sorry. Too soon?
Do I know, Mince?
Too soon?
Yeah, too soon. Can I just say that I was really worried when you didn't die for cover like Harmon.
You know, the whole thing was,
I just thought, what's he doing?
I know. I thought I'd go for the car. They would come into the car and drive off.
It's just like I just sort of like think Minsk is not the best in combat situations.
No, it's not. Let's face it.
You know, I think next time Hammond will probably drag him down, or Numan will push him.
Yeah.
Well, this is the whole thing where we have a Newman. And I will keep saying that.
And we have a Minsk.
Oh.
Darth says, thanks for the adventure, everyone. Thank you for coming along and
Thanks,
watching.
Darth.
Okay, until next time, please look after yourself, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay positive, and we'll see you all next week. Goodbye. Say goodbye, people.
Bye.
Bye, people.
Bye, people.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.